In this video, I'm going to show you how to take your pumpkin carvings to the next level with a few helpful tips and a special tool that I'm going to show you right at the end. So you can take your pumpkin carvings from looking like this to something more like this. So, make sure you stick to the end, so let's jump into the content. Before we get into the advanced steps of creating a super awesome pumpkin, we need to kind of go back to the basics with hollowing it out, removing the goop and the seeds, and really making it a nice pumpkin to carve. Of course, you can always use a couple different strategies here. You could ignore hollowing out in the first place and simply kind of do a shaving technique on the outside where you never actually puncture all the way through the pumpkin. Of course, you're not going to be able to get a light in there to kind of make it glow, but I've found that doesn't work super well anyways. Now, let's jump back into it. So now that we are done hollowing out our pumpkin, we can make some really sweet carvings on it. Now, hollowing it out and separating the goop and the seeds isn't really necessary, but we like to eat the pumpkin seeds. You like bake them and do all that cool stuff, and then you can eat the pumpkin seeds. Now it's time to get on to actually carving the pumpkin. Now, you don't need to actually hollow it out completely because you could simply carve around the outside, like in this picture, but then you're never quite sure how thick your pumpkin is or if you're gonna break through. However, it would last longer still having all the goop on the inside and the pumpkininess in there. But it's gonna help, and you're not gonna be able to get a light in if you don't hollow it out. Now, with my pumpkin here, I was not able to get the light to shine through very much, like a little around the thinnest areas, but you'd have to really shave it down thinner and know how thick your pumpkin is. But without further ado, let's get on to carving the pumpkin. If this is your first time here on MakerBrain, I'm all about inspiring your spare time with creativity, so head down to the bar down below, tap that subscribe button, and smash the like button so that you won't miss another video. Wait, that's what I'm supposed to say after saying tap the bell. As promised, right here is the special tool that you can use to help improve your pumpkin carving quality. It's super simple to make, and I've had this one for 3 years, and it has really helped me out. So, I'm gonna quick show you how to make it right here. I don't have the supplies at the moment to make another one. They're super common though, and I bet you have them in your drawer. What you're gonna do is just take a bobby pin or hairpin, something that is metal and kind of long, and then you will bend it. You'll be really good at this if you're prone to pick locks. You're going to bend it around and make it into a kind of uniform U shape. You can keep those notches there, they'll help in the future. So once you have it kind of bent out into a shape somewhat like this, where it goes all the way around, take a spare pencil. If you don't have a spare pencil, then you've got bigger things to worry about. So you're going to take your hairpin, the pin, bend it around the pencil. The very last step that you need is to attach the pin to the pencil. So the most obvious way is tape, and that's what I've been using. So I started with some electrical tape and wrapped that around as tight as I could several times, go around and make sure it's a really secure connection. You're going to want to make sure that you get the pin covered way down. See, I've got a lot of tape here. You want to really securely hold that pin, otherwise you're going to end up with it bending way too far off to the side, like that, which you don't really want. You want to get as much of it down secured securely to the pencil, so you might want to take the eraser off your pencil, or do something like that, so that you can get a more secure grip on the pencil. And if you find that the electrical tape is not holding it on well enough after going around several times, what I did was take some standard Scotch tape and then wrap that around the electrical tape on the outside a few more times. The reason I used the Scotch tape after the electrical tape was because the Scotch tape doesn't stretch and bend like the electrical tape, but it doesn't have as much strength. But those two combined seem to hold it really well. You could also apply a little hot glue at the beginning, or some other adhesive, to keep it more in place from sliding back and forth while you're carving. Okay, so I lied. That wasn't really the last step. There's one more very important thing you have to do before being able to actually make this work. You need to take some sandpaper or some kind of sanding block and sand down your pin so it's got a fairly sharp edge on the inside curve. You want it to be a sharp edge on the inside, and it can be round on the outside. You don't want to sand down the inside because you want to be able to scrape this way. You're not pushing forward with your tool. So you need to sand it down, get it fairly sharp. This is my second model. Before I made this one, I tried to make one, and I made it too sharp, and it broke. So you don't want to do too much, but it is very important to make it sharp so that you can carve in. Now, obviously, it's not tremendously sharp, and I found it's really difficult to cut through some of the skin of the pumpkin. You might have to shave that off first with a knife, and then you can really go to town with this tool. So we are done making this awesome pumpkin carving tool, and now you can go be boss. Alright, that's it for now. If you want to see my latest video, you can check it out right there. And if you want to see how I made some really cool tripod leg extenders, you can check that video out right down there. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps me out, and you'll be able to subscribe right here.